I'm a millennial, a proud millennial.
Okay, for
you
sure.
Gen Z, no?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's Gen Z?
I was a whole woman when you were born.
How old were you when I was in 2000?
I think I was like 15 or 14.
Yo, crazy. Yo, my people, it's your boy EB. Welcome to another episode of The Kids Show. Today, I'm joined by an OG, and this is definitely not the second time we're shooting this, but I'm joined by TK's Kingdom, Taryn. What's your full name?
Taryn K. Trussell Funlow.
Yo, that's crazy. Man. You weren't about to let go of your maiden name. Huh?
Nah, I worked too hard.
Crazy. So obviously, guys, I want to give a bit of an intro for my younger audience because she's obviously from the previous generation. Not just above us though. Not too much.
I'm a millennial, a proud millennial.
Okay, for
you
sure.
Gen Z, no?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's Gen Z?
These late 90s, early 2000s kids.
Yes. I'm 2000 on the dot.
Wow.
That's good though.
Yo, that's amazing. I was a whole woman when you were born.
How old were you when I was in 2000?
I think how old are you now?
I'm 23.
23. Yeah, I think I was like 15 or 14.
Yo, crazy. These times I was just born. So, Taryn is obviously a radio personality, a influencer. She's done so much work in media. She's been on ETV. She's been on Al Jazeera. So, she's basically done it all. And the reason why I brought Taryn on, because I feel like she's always been the one interviewing people. She's always been the one finding about people's stories. But today I want to find out about your story. And I also feel like in Cape Town especially, there's not a lot of media personalities that are at the forefront of social media. Maybe not the forefront entirely, but you are still out there. Because obviously the younger crowd will always be at the forefront. But I feel like you are...
Sorry, this is very unprofessional of me. I thought I'd put it off.
Phone on silent.
Silent mode on. My apologies. It's
Okay,
hard being popular.
no stress. Oh, I'm so sorry, man.
joking.
You see,
I'm kidding.
When I come on your show, I'm going to leave my phone on loud
I'm
now.
really sorry.
Okay, it's okay. I'll forgive you. I'm only teasing. So, I do feel like there's a lot of influencers, but there's not a lot of media personalities like yourself that are actually coming out and developing the skill of interviewing people, of journalism.
Yeah.
And that's why I think you deserve your flowers. For the second time, I'm giving you your flowers because this is the second time we're recording this.
Yeah.
So just tell people a bit about yourself.
Okay, so TK.
Yes,
more
yes.
commonly known. Been in media now for almost 20 years.
Yes.
And it's been a beautiful ride. I think, started at Stellenbosch University in a professional capacity. Before that was high school, MCing gigs and what. But yes, I would say started at MFM, community-based radio station. Moved from there, got scouted, then moved on to Good Hope FM.
Of course.
When I was at university, I did a degree in political science.
Yeah, I knew that one.
And then I did my honors in journalism. And I think that's where I got the taste of the discipline behind media, you know, because I specialized in broadcast, or focused mainly on broadcast. And then you learn the fundamentals of broadcast. And broadcast media is broad.
Yeah.
TV, radio, internet, whatever. So then did commercial radio at Good Hope for 10 years, did traffic, anchored my own show. It was dope, loved every second. And then, subsequent to that, I was at ETV. I was making documentaries.
Yeah.
So I did a lot of production work on this side of the camera and that side of the camera. And then when I finished up at ETV, I then went full on to SABC.
Yeah.
And that's when I was doing the radio. But with that, SABC is sister stations, the radio with, say, SABC 3 and all that jazz. I wasn't exclusive to them because I did a lot of stuff with DSTV as well. And so, I literally dabbled in a lot, worked at CNN, Al Jazeera. And it's fun. It's like I literally can say that I'm not a one-trick pony.
Yeah.
You know, it's multi.
You can do lots of things.
Yeah. So that's what it's been. It's been TV, radio, broadcast, podcasting, a little bit of modeling, commercials, voiceover work, and it's
Yeah, you
dope.
have a voice for radio. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. So it's been fun. So that's in a nutshell, that's been the journey. Very tightly compressed, but that's been the mission.
Yeah, so you obviously been on Good Hope.
Yeah.
You're Good Hope for a few years.
10.
10 years.
Yeah.
That's still a few though. I feel like you could be
Yeah,
on
it's
20.
a decade, bro. Yeah.
And previously, I'm not going to pretend like we didn't speak before. Previously, you told me that when you were at Good Hope, I'm going to go straight into it now. I'm not going to waste any time. When you were at Good Hope, you were coming to the end of your contract.
Yeah.
That was around about the same time you found out you were pregnant.
I didn't find out. I was pregnant AF. You know what I mean? And I was very loud and proud about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I think my contract was coming to an end in April,
Mm-hmm.
May, June, July. Yeah. So I was like about to give birth at like in June. So there was like I was showing and everything. And sadly, I think, and I don't know, I might get flack for this, but women don't get the same level of leniency and understanding as men do in media. So, like some of my colleagues hid their pregnancies until they secure their next contract.
Of course.
Me, I was like, I'm out here, bro.
Loud and proud.
Yeah, so I think it would have been a conflict of interest. I think that it was just maybe like not a good brand to have like this motherly figure on a youth fun like liquor radio station.
Of course, yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I'm not bitter about it because I think that there's lots of blessings that came thereafter. Maybe it was also the universe, Buddha, God, whatever you believe in, way of going right, new chapter alert. But what I can say that is it's because there is no like union for freelancers in radio
so
and
you can't complain
there's
anywhere.
no union for, I mean, imagine there was a union or a human resource department for influencers and all the crap we take and the content creators. You know what I'm saying?
I'll be there every day.
It would be, you know what I'm saying? So you must take what you get and you survive. So yeah, I think it was quite a raw, real deal. But this is what media is.
Of course.
It's a lot harder for women. But yeah, and so I found myself in a space now. What now? Because radio is all I did for the longest time.
Yeah. So do you feel like as a woman you only put in the situation, like you only put in the position where you can speak to people when you, I don't know how to explain it in the right way without being flagged, but like people only want a woman to be at the forefront when she can sell, I wouldn't say sex in a way, but she can sell this aura of like this happy, this club girl, this fun girl.
Possibly, yeah.
But
that was my selling point when I was,
because I do feel like if a man was in the same position, he definitely would have been offered a new contract.
Would have gotten his paternity leave, everything. That's a real thing. So I think that, the Me Too movement and body positivity and feminism and equalization is very much alive and well.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we must always sit back and go, who actually controls, who pulls the real strings? And it's the shareholders and the men,
Yeah.
And they will always look through men's eyes. You don't see often a female anchor at 7 o'clock doing the news.
Yeah.
It's a man with gray hair. And his voice is the voice of reason. You understand? You won't have a woman with a high-pitched voice telling the story about how she found, 4 kids in a shack that was burnt down.
Yeah.
No. When a man tells the story, we listen. And that's the patriarchy. And I'm not a burn your bra kind of feminist. I'm speaking facts, man. On radio as well, like you would never find like the drive time show where there's a girl anchoring. It's always a guy.
Always a guy.
The girl's the, hey now, giggle, giggle, laughter, the addition, the traffic, the news, and it's and I've seen it many times. Again, I was in the space of like, the situation is what it is.
Yeah.
You can't change. And let me tell you, you think I'm old. You must check the cats that are actually putting the strings in radio. I'm talking about cats that are like, they were in their prime in the 80s.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you can understand why they think like that and they're still in their positions. But no shade on them, because the reality is, internet has power and internet has taken over, and the internet has actually shown people that the masses will always gravitate to what they like and what they want.
Yeah.
And so while other platforms are still alive and well and they're not going anywhere, the game has just dispersed, it just spread.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Of course, yeah.
So, and that's pretty dope.
There's a lot more ways to
Consume
content, and a lot more ways to show your talent.
100%.
For creators especially.
Yeah.
But there's one thing I want to ask you though. You do speak on the topic of men always being at the forefront and women not getting the same amount of leniency as men. But do you ever feel like women also benefit from that in a way? Because certain women in certain situations might get jobs because of their beauty.
Yeah.
Or they might be given a promotion because of their beauty.
You and I had this conversation before, because you spoke about how women are at an advantage, for example, with brands.
Yes.
With, you know what I'm saying? And the one side and the reality is that your chief consumer, the buyer of the household, is a female. And that is a marketing anthropological fact of life. You don't see dad going like, oh, you know, what's the price of the milk today or whatever. I'm generalizing, but normally, traditionally, generally, it's the woman. So I find that brands will gravitate to the buyer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
However, who's the CEO, chief buyer of the actual company? It's a man. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things that it's almost like it's a catch-22. You know what I'm saying? So it's but any brand will always first target a woman. Even car brands. Car brands will also, like, you'll always find, like, this is what I found with one of my clients. They will be selling insurance or something.
Yeah.
And 99% of the time, men will go, let me first have a chat with my wife. They don't buy into it immediately.
Yeah, they have to go find out.
You know what I'm saying? It's like because there's still this thing of, like, the woman still, holds it down, keeps things balanced and whatever. I'm not saying that men don't make the decisions, blah, 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 because man. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is there's a certain role that a woman plays in the functionality of a household that is kind of detrimental to the successful running.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that is possibly the situation why, brands maybe don't flock to men. It should change. It should really change because...
But those are things that will probably never change though.
And then you must ask yourself, who is controlling that narratives? Who's insisting on making it that men do this, women do this?
Yeah.
Who are those guys?
But in the fact of like selling to women, selling to men, will always be something that will be used to control men in a way. Whether it's through pornography, through everything, that's will always be used to control society. Apparently, that's one way that they keep men weak, by feeding them pornography, because the benefits of not having pornography apparently change your life, like sperm retention, all those things there.
Where's your sources from, man?
Don't worry. Source, trust me, bro. That's my source, trust me, bro. But a lot of people do believe that the media uses women to control men.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of woke women also that are also stepping back and just going like, I'm not going to shave under my arms, and if you don't like it, suck it.
Yeah, how do you feel about that?
I can't care. It's not my armpits. You know what I'm saying? I think that, like, in a time that there is really real stuff to worry about, worrying about someone's armpits, but there are people that feel strongly about that. And you see on social media, like, there'll be like 2,000 comments under something where a woman's like posing like this, and there's a really natural body here that bothers you. I've come to learn that in this space on social media, and I also want to make a fact and a statement here quickly. If something triggers you on social media, block it or unfollow it. It don't make no damn sense to consume something that triggers you.
Yeah.
Like, you sitting there, wasting your data, hating, being angry. If it triggers you, be it body hair, someone else's success, whatever, unfollow for your own mental health.
But don't you think it becomes a bit addictive though?
Hating?
Hating though. Like, I'm not a hater, I can't lie to you. But I feel like for some people, creating fake accounts, they sort of have this addiction of like hating on people. Like, today I'm going to tell Hervé this.
Like,
and I feel like, and the fact that I'm going to respond to them is going to make them like, yes, I'm going to keep going, I'm going to keep going, I'm going to keep going. And I feel like a lot of people are bored with their lives. And they find satisfaction in things like these. So some people might not like something, and it might trigger them in the wrong way. But there's also people where it triggers them in the right way, in which they can attack this back, and now they have something to do.
So here's a few things quickly, from my media experience.
Yeah.
And because I come from the old school, as Advay says. You give a monkey a platform to perform, and the monkey's going to perform.
Exactly.
No racial, nothing. What I'm saying is, monkey see, monkey do.
Yeah.
Okay, you understand? So if you're going to give someone a platform to perform, they're going to perform.
Of course.
Okay? So that is the one thing. So it's very important that you manage, you control, and you the one that is in power with regards to how much energy that person gets.
Yeah.
Secondly, you are not qualified to deal with that person's mental situation. You are not a psychiatrist, you're not a psychologist, because if you have gone and created an account to be so bitter and spew such hate, you are not in a good mental space. You know what I'm saying? I'm not qualified to deal with you. You need an actual trained psychiatrist or psychologist or a counselor, because it's not coming because Erva is successful. It's coming from another dark
From
place.
inside,
like
somewhere
maybe
inside
it's
of
your
you.
childhood, maybe it's your daddy, maybe it's your mommy. I don't know. Maybe it's the uncle next door. I don't know. But what I'm saying is, sadly, Erva is triggering it. And so you're not qualified, Erva. So actually, it's your responsibility to not talk to that person, because you could be triggering them more. You do the wrong thing on the wrong day to the wrong person, and it can have hectic ramifications.
Yeah.
Look what happened to Basonge, you know? Ricky Rick.
Rick, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that tweet triggered that, but what
Yeah.
I'm saying is, you don't know the wrong day, wrong time. You get people that are out there, righteous AF, you know, but they don't realize they also shaming. They also, they also be. You get someone on the wrong day, and you can ruin someone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's the thing. Like we're not qualified to deal with people, and the internet has become a gorgeous playground where people think that they play God. You know?
Yeah, and they can just judge people.
They can just be these, I'm gonna say it kind
Yeah.
of thing. And the most gorgeous thing is that the oldest thing of humankind is being able to communicate. You know, it's the oldest thing. Now imagine we were sophisticated enough to go, bro, let's grab a coffee. Let's just get this over.
Let's just
done
talk
with.
about it, yeah.
And even if the outcomes is that we agree to disagree, at least there's closure on the matter. It's
Yeah.
done. But now a young beef so that we can get some responses from the crowds.
And also to get some views and followers. And
Like a beef, like a drama.
Yeah.
Because you need to get some form of support for your BS.
Yeah.
That you need to get. That's why we do it. We don't go, nothing grinds my gears like people that post memes all day. Have you seen that cats already?
What
they
do you
just
mean?
they just post like, it's this season, and if my man isn't gonna, but actually go speak to your man.
yeah, go speak to your man.
Or go
Don't
speak
talk
to the
about-
person that's triggering you.
Yeah.
And people are like, this one thing about me, I will never when I'm done with you, I'm done. Now go talk to that person.
I get you. I
Why
get you,
are you
like-
here posting like 15, 16 and don't let's start with the Bible verses. You know what I'm saying? Like, why are you here? Because you need people to tell you, oh, I agree with you. Yo, this really hit home. Oh, my word. You know what I'm saying? You need people to validate your BS, because you don't want to deal with your crap.
Yeah, I do get
So
you.
it's so the internet is a brilliant space. There's a lot of feel good, but there's a lot of dangerous things happening there as well
Yeah.
that we don't realize. It's creeping deep into our psyche, and it's making us dark and unhappy. So my rule of thumb is, if something triggers me, maybe it's not my season to be engaging with this thing now. Hide it for now. I'll come back later. Or whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't want to feel crap when I see something, man.
I
You know
totally
what I mean?
get you. So obviously, on the topic of the internet, we went straight to it, but you obviously had to transition from being this media personality straight into the internet. So what differences and what positives and negatives did you find from transitioning from radio and traditional media into now today's media?
Freedom.
Freedom.
Let me tell you something. Traditional media, and if I say traditional, I'm talking about now print, radio,
TV.
You think, oh my gosh, like that is such a cool show to watch or whatever. Let me tell you, it is curated, it is structured, it is so controlled. You cannot talk about what you want to talk. Everything, down to the song, down to how many minutes you can speak,
Yeah.
down to, bro, like you could be on air and Michael Jackson could rise from the dead. You can't put him on air. You can't. It has to, everything is signed off beforehand.
Yeah.
So you think you're getting this organic, natural, real time, blah, blah. Yes, it's live. You never know what can happen live, but everything is scripted down to the T. So when I went and I started my first podcast in end of 2018.
Yeah. The MVP Club.
Yes. Someone's did their homework.
Yeah, man.
The MVP Club, this was before podcasts became a cool thing.
Yeah.
I just loved the idea of creating a space where I could do everything that I've always wanted to do that I couldn't do on radio.
And freely, of course.
Freely, could talk about things. I could drop a couple of F-bombs. It was dope. It was just me being real and raw, and people loved it. People loved the fact that people were just being real.
Yeah. And that's one thing also, like Mr. Mayor tells me when he was on the podcast. He said that the fact that when he came out and he was now on social media and one of the first people, he feels like the shock factor of him coming out and being able to say anything sort of made people gravitate towards him. And I feel like that highlights how all the traditional media was very curated, and it was very like, what's the right word? It wasn't hard. It was more soft, and it was more like respectful and very on brand.
But it's also, the narrative has been controlled.
Yes.
So you, for example, could have a war happening. There could be a riot happening right outside this door right now. And there could be people like losing their lives. But because it's not signed off on radio, like you cannot talk about it. You
can't mention it.
And you're like, but there's kids, you know, you can't talk about it. And that's the turmoil that you deal with. It's like, I need to announce that something is happening out here.
Yeah.
It's dangerous. I'm scared. But your sense of your morality is compromised because you're doing it because it's your job and someone controls what comes out of your mouth.
Yeah.
So it is a bit of a mind funk, but it's dope in the sense that it's a brilliant space to learn the fundamentals. Because that's, I think, is a big issue, and we can touch on this afterwards, is that the space of content creators and podcasters and blah, 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 while they are doing the most, getting the numbers, getting the views, they don't know the basics, the fundamentals, the ethics, the foundation of media.
Yeah.
And if you have those in place, everything else flows naturally. But they use their place that they have, I don't know, to get freebies, like, you know, score bottles, get ass.
Score bottles. get
Whatever.
ass.
I don't know what the criteria
Yeah.
is nowadays. When actually it's a discipline. You know, media is a discipline.
Yeah.
And if you do it properly, you can have longevity in this game. So, what was dope about starting like a podcast was that I had carte blanche, and it was fantastic.
Did you have carte blanche?
No, man, carte blanche means like I had freedom.
Yo, they're gonna cook me in the comments for that. That carte blanche mean freedom.
Yeah, well, carte blanche is like you can open it up, you know.
Oh, I
open
see,
it up and let's investigate.
Oh.
Let's open it up.
I used to like carte blanche as a kid.
I
so-
love carte blanche. I don't know what it's like now because I don't have DSTV.
Why not?
Because I have all the other like internet platforms, and
Oh.
I'm not big on sports. Dun dun dun.
Damn, I'm gonna have to kick you off the couch now.
And that's the only thing that like DSTV offers now.
Yeah, only football.
So I mean, I'm not like anti-sports, but I'm definitely not going to like sacrifice an afternoon or an evening to watch people run after a piece of leather.
Don't you go to the stadium though?
Oh yes, I'll do that for Geers.
That's very contradictory though.
No, Geers being like chilling with my beer.
I get you, yeah.
Ooh, that thing looks like a horse.
So you can chill
know?
with your beer at your home with your
Yeah,
friends.
but you guys talk about that he was relegated, and oh my word, we here on the log. We can't. We are not part of his Lambo club. We're
Yeah.
not part of his net worth.
I get you.
But you know
I
what I'm saying?
get you, yeah.
No shade. No shade. Please don't cook me either. It's just like, I'm just saying like, it's weird.
So you obviously had a lot of freedom. And obviously from the MVP club came a very, very big episode, which was the Monique Miller episode.
Yes. Did a couple of exclusives.
Yes.
Did an exclusive. So remember when there was that Lion Cub in Athlone?
Yeah.
So Carnita, I don't know, I think she's gone like quite low-key at the moment. But I did an exclusive with her, and she did her story.
Yes.
And it was so beautiful because she told her story, and I suddenly felt like that journalist in me was coming out, where I was creating spaces for people to tell their story. And so that was the first time I did like a tell-all kind of thing. Felt a bit like Oprah. And then the second time I did it was with Monique, but we never released that.
Yes, of course. That's what I want to get into. Obviously, the snippet was posted.
That was
Done.
a teaser.
Yeah, the teaser
It got,
done.
Like literally like almost like I think it got like 300,000 views.
In how long? In a day?
Literally it was 3 or 4 days, and then we got obviously like court papers.
Court papers, because obviously they didn't want you to release it. Now,
Yeah.
take me back to the beginning. Like, how did that interview come about? And just break down the story of what exactly was happening and what was put out to the media. Because obviously you can't mention certain things that you acquired in the interview. But just from the beginning, the public knowledge for people who do not know.
Okay, so Monique Miller is Katlego Maboy, the presenter, singer, partner at the time.
Yeah.
Or well, they'd broken up, baby mama.
Yeah.
And I get a phone call one day out of the blue. And also, side note, we media people, so we see each other all the time. We're under the SABC umbrella. She's not in the media, but he is.
Yeah.
So I've interviewed him on air often, and I will be on his show on what's it, on Espresso in the morning and whatever. It's like, you know, it's all under one family umbrella, the SABC.
Yeah.
Anyway, and so we know each other, we're industry people. We don't brown a Saturday by each other's house. You know, it's not that kind of but we know who we are, you know. Anyway, and get a phone call and like surprised, like I didn't expect this. You know, the conversation starts with a like almost like an NDA kind of thing, almost like chicks. What I'm about to tell you is completely like confidential, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, and immediately I put on my journalistic cap kind of thing, because that's how it goes when you have an informant or you have a source or something like that. You respect the source and you respect the process. And I'm thinking like, yo, was this girl assaulted? Was like, you know, that's it. Because she's like about to tell me, I didn't think at all of him at all.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, and you know, my compassionate side comes in, and I'm like, what's up? And then obviously she starts unpacking her experience in a relationship.
Yes.
And she then says to me, like, well, are you prepared to... Oh, and then she also says to me, the story's about to hit the media. Well, actually, no, it had hit the media already. It had gone viral. You know, when he was wearing that gown and it was like, you know, all cray. So she's like, it's out there. She's like, no one is hearing my story and no media house is prepared to listen to my story. So naturally, everyone gravitated to him. Yeah. Also, he had a full PR team. Everyone was controlling everything. Full lawyer team, full everything. Yeah. She didn't have that. I'm not defending her. What I'm saying is that there was an imbalance in the narrative. You know what I'm saying?
And she wasn't able to tell her side of the story.
Yeah, and it wasn't my job to come here and play light of reason here, you know. It was just my job to hear her out, kind of thing. Anyway, and it's fascinating because the only side, and listen, I tell you, this woman was getting death threats, eh?
From supporters of him.
Death threats, like it was bad.
Yeah.
Like, it was very bad. And so it was important for me to also just be mindful that I'm not sounding like a spin doctor or a tabloid hopping on to, you know, for clout or for let's jump onto the scandal. You know, it was never my vibe. Anyway, and then she came in and I said, yes, we will handle this with complete sensitivity and you know, and as professional as possible. And so started unpacking, and it was just like me just trying to be like this, like really, like can't. I was like,
wow. Yeah.
It was pretty lit. But I have to also understand that it's her version.
Yeah.
I never had a conversation with him. I didn't hear his version. And everything in life is about perspective. It's not the truth. It's about it's perspective. You know what I mean?
That's how you saw it, yeah.
And so that was her perspective. Anyway, our production team were in a very like conflicted space because we were like, we must drop this now. We must drop this now. And we were like, so there was this push and pull. And we found ourselves for the very first time in a almost, you know, a moral dilemma about this, because you must also remember they have a kid. Fun fact: when I was pregnant, you go for this 14-week scan. Yeah. And you, it's a big scan. And when I was walked into the waiting room, they said, "Julle twee ook daar." No one knew yet they were pregnant or anything. And
so this is after the story had dropped.
No, this is like years before. This is when they fell pregnant.
Oh, so before.
So
the
we
story
were pregnant at the same time.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe this sounds very kumbaya or something, but I had this weird innate, like I gravitated to, you're a mommy also, man. Like you know, like I wasn't feeling biased towards her. There was no that. I was objective all the way, but I was also like you're like your little boy, man. Like I saw my little boy when I looked at her little boy. You know what I mean? So for me, it was a matter of compassion, also. You know, and also, can I also tell you, both parties contribute to a downfall of something. Yeah. So I'm not saying sis was completely innocent in this as well. You know what I mean? It literally takes two to tango. Yeah. But when there's an injustice in something, like I always root for the underdog. It's been it's the one thing that's always screwed me over in this life. But it's just like, I don't know, I'm going to keep on doing it because it's just, you know, if you got a mouth in or you got a space or a platform, then do it right, man, you know?
And help out. Yeah.
So anyway, sis unpacked everything, whatever. 1, 2, 3, we got sent papers from his legal team with a gag order. We cannot broadcast this. But at this point, there had been numerous articles written already, you know, out on his behalf already. So it was very tumultuous.
But that's kind of tricky though, because what are you trying to prevent though? What were they trying to prevent you guys from putting out? If they had already written stories, shouldn't both stories be somewhat similar? Do they feel like she was lying in a story, or what were they trying to prevent?
I think it comes back down to like our initial conversation about power, about narratives, about control. I think you must also remember his whole existence in media is based on the narrative of who he is. He's Mr. I wake you up in the morning, feel good, and so it really tarnished his brand to have something like this, disrupt the persona.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So I think that, and also I'm not trying, because I think that he has done a lot of work and healing on himself, because I run into him now and then at events, and it's so enriching to see how much they've moved from there. You see, in a traditional sense, this is now America. There must be a winner and a loser.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We want to see a downfall. We want to see a collapse. But when I see them nowadays and when I engage with them, they've grown so beautifully. And this was a 2-year-long in and out of court messy situation that they had. They have blossomed so beautifully. I mean, he's back in the media. He's back to doing his gigs and stuff. For me, that man must look after his child.
Yeah.
He's got to, I know firsthand that, he needs to pay the bills. So it doesn't make sense to disrupt or destroy his brand or his image. But there is a sense of ethics when it comes to let's hear both sides of the story.
Yeah.
And this is why we have podcasts, and this is why, so that we don't only have to go to the radio or to the TV or we have multiple levels of platforms where you can go and decide where you want to consume your content. And so she chose to come to me. She could have gone anywhere. She could have gone to any platform. She could have gone to the Sun if she wanted to. She could have gone to The Voice.
And they would have taken that.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Up, yeah.
I think there was a big Media 24 magazine that also offered her money for her story.
Yeah.
She didn't take that. She just wanted to tell her story. It's a very tricky space, So have they moved and evolved and healed? They've done so beautifully, and the little boy is flourishing, and everything is, and they lived happily ever after. Yes, it's work, but at the time, I think that it was so tumultuous and so tricky because there was court cases that it could have swung the pendulum completely to the other side and disrupt the whole move.
And that's why you decided to withhold.
No, well, look, if I drop it tomorrow, the court case is done. I can drop it tomorrow. I can if I wanted to. But it doesn't make sense for me to do it.
To do it now, yeah.
But what's the point?
You're not benefiting the woman that you initially intended to help.
And my modus operandi was never to ruin careers and cause a stir and cause disruption. She just wanted to be heard as well. She just wanted to be, no one's listening to my side. Everyone's calling me a home wrecker. Everyone's calling me a bad mother and all kinds of ugly words.
Yeah.
So I think that is what it was for me at the time. And I got like messages from people in the media, big people.
Yeah.
Drop it. And I was just like, it's never about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, it was a good experience. It was a good journalistic experience. But we must also remember that you must always look at what is the outcomes of this? What do you want the outcomes to be? And I would have gotten nothing out of ruining someone's life. It would have, you know what I mean? Or it wouldn't have done anything valuable.
That's actually a very interesting topic and something that I want to move into.
What?
Cancellation. That's a very interesting topic. Cancel culture. So I feel like this idea of cancel culture is sort of like misunderstood by the people cancelling, especially. Because I feel like there's this big gatekeepers in the community.
Who appointed them though?
I don't know. Like, they're taking jobs that they're not even supposed to take. But these people are now deciding like, okay, this person's cancelled. He's cancelled forever. And I think what I feel like the whole reason for cancellation is to call out someone who you have constantly spoken to. Not necessarily, I mean, obviously it depends on the level of the, what's the word? The level of the offense.
Oh, okay.
Depending on the level of offense, if it's an offense that you can speak to someone about, then it's a lot different. But if it's an offense that is irreversible and it has happened and you want to bring it to light so that the person doesn't do it again, then I totally understand you. But once the person has tried to improve themselves, I feel like there are people that don't choose to forgive them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then it raises the question, like, were you canceling them so you can better themselves, or just so that you can ruin someone's career or bring someone down? So what challenges have you faced with, like, always being careful and always trying to avoid cancellation? And how do you also feel about being uncancelled?
What do you... Oh, okay.
So obviously you're being cancelled and then you're being uncancelled by now being allowed back into society after bettering yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose the spotlight and the magnifying glass is even more hectically on you when you get uncancelled.
Yeah.
But I think that the initial cancel starts because of a misuse of power. You misused your power to some degree. So that is where... Because I find that is the trend with most people that's been cancelled. You know what I mean? That it wasn't just a once-off kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's always there's a history. You know what I mean? So it's a misuse of your power. And then, of course, your rehabilitation, your healing, and doing better.
But that doesn't get as much coverage as your cancellation at all.
Because it speaks also about the state of society. We, like, you know, and I know this. People love to see you fall.
Yeah, people love
you know
bad
what I mean?
news. Yeah.
They love to see your downfall. They love to see, like, they're just waiting for something, man, you know? You get messages all the time. How can I be as big as you? How can I be as big as you?
Oh, you saw that one? No?
No, I see them every now and then.
That was actually asked me like 2 days ago.
Yeah, no, but it's happened before.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm sure you get that a lot. But just as much as they're wanting to know how big you are, they also wanting you to collapse. They want you, and it obviously again stems from their own internal crap that they're happening, whatever. But we come from we are a society that envy, you know, it eats at us because we've become so obsessed with image. We've become so obsessed with, like, have you seen like how people post already, where they almost like just sneak in the Louis Vuitton. Like,
yeah,
it wasn't intentional.
I know them ones. Yeah,
they're constantly trying to present an image. You know what I mean? We're obsessed with how we look and our branding and. So your success, for example, must even hurt harder because it's just organic, real, raw. People fall in love with you. You didn't have to, you know, buy a Bugatti to get attention. You didn't have to make it to a Premier League, you know, for your fame.
Yeah.
You got a different type of power, if I could put it that way. And it's not cool. I don't like that you are winning like that. I hate that, and I hate that you did it so well and so seamlessly, and that you are keeping on doing it so well. And so, the minute you must do something wrong, so now you use the wrong word or whatever, they're going to be like this. Eagle, the cow has landed. Drop that cancel. Yes, move through, move around, move out. They're waiting for you, you know what I mean? So, cancel culture is definitely something that I think must apply when there's a genuine full-on violation of human rights.
Yeah.
And human rights is universal. You know what I mean? You don't have to be a color, culture, religion. There's certain stuff that you just don't do. You know, period. Then I think it applies. But don't you come with your moral high ground and want to come and apply your morality on someone else. Because we all come from different backgrounds.
Yeah.
We all have different senses. You might like think that something is important, and I might be like, Drew, relax, that is not important. But I can't piss on your parade. I must respect the fact that that's what you think is important.
Of course, yeah.
So cancel culture for me is something that is, you must be very cautious because the canceller could quickly be cancelled also. You know what I mean?
You can't just come out here and just put that person on. Someone's going to be like, oh, weren't you the one cancelling this person? Exactly. Now you're doing the same thing. Yeah,
and I don't know, there's a very scary thing that comes with people that think that they are in this righteous position. And it's weird. They fuel their own crap,
Yeah.
They fuel themselves up because somewhere in their background or their upbringing or their sense of morality, they believe that this is the right way. You know what I mean? When everything is perspective. Till today, Jacob Zuma does not see things wrong. He does not think he did anything wrong. Because in his culture, in his Zulu band world, that man did nothing wrong in his mind. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he will take it to the highest court in this land because in his mind, he's like, what did I do?
I haven't
You know
done
what I'm
it.
saying?
Yeah, I totally
so
get
we try to cancel the man. The man just don't get cancelled. You know what I mean?
Jacob Zuma's too much is the goat.
But you know, but what I'm saying is that at the end of the day, like it's always through your own lens.
Mm-hmm.
But the canceller must be very cautious because you can very quickly be the cancelled.
That speaks to ignorance is bliss though. Because
Yeah.
now if I'm eating chocolates today
Yeah.
and I think, okay, chocolates are calm, like there's nothing wrong with chocolates, and I'm eating 50 chocolates a day. And then I'll be like, okay, cool, I'm just living like, but tomorrow if someone tells me, bro, eating chocolates can actually lead to diabetes, then I'll start eating chocolate, but now I'll be a bit cautious.
Yeah.
But if I didn't know, I would just do it.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
And you make a very good point because we also must become critical of our sources.
Yeah.
We must become a little bit more. Stop always drinking everything that gets fed to you. Challenge, probe, ask questions,
I
man.
understand, yes,
Because
yes.
I mean, if we sat back and believed in America, for example, we know Sky News, Fox News is Donald Trump's platform.
Yeah.
He feeds them all that BS. Then you have CNN and you have your other platforms that may be a different type of more, democratic, whatever. But what the point that I'm trying to say is that you're going to get a certain narrative from a certain group of people.
Yeah.
You must always ask questions before you're going to sit back and believe. Even if you are Catholic, which I am, that's why I'm qualified to say this, question the Vatican. You must question everything. You must be cautious and must be mindful of everything. Stop slicking everything and believing it. Not in this day and age when there's so much information available.
Yeah.
You have no excuse. Otherwise, it's personal. If you're going to believe it, it's personal.
Yeah.
Then you're intentionally being a hater, But yeah, be critical, man. It's your responsibility.
It's
Damn
interesting.
Gen Z.
Yeah, they just take it, nah? But one thing you spoke on is, just to end off, you spoke on the image
Yeah.
and how people want to be perceived, and the Louis Vuitton bag. Now people just want to live this high life.
Yeah.
Now I want to get your opinion on something that's very, very, very prominent in Cape Town, especially.
Yeah.
Like there's a huge society of men and women. So obviously there's men that women don't actually like, but they date them just for a new iPhone, just for Ace of Spades at the club, just for a section at the
Yeah,
club,
that's so
just
interesting.
for Hubley. And they might...
Hubley.
For Hubley, yes. Hubley in the club is expensive.
Yo,
500 rand for Hubley in the
girls
club.
like putting out for Hubley.
I'm not saying they're putting out, like they're not necessarily...
You go, I'll buy you coals. I'll buy you coals.
they're not necessarily like... We're not saying they're sleeping with the men.
Yeah,
They
but just
obviously-
for the vibe,
they
persona.
leading them on, they're
because
vibing.
the guys in the club also must not need the image.
So you obviously come from a different time, and when we had this
Slow
conversation,
down.
you know what I mean. But when we had this
Yeah.
conversation
No,
previous,
it's always been.
you say that there has
It's more
been,
lit now.
It's more lit now. Like
Yeah.
it's actually cool, guys. Like some of them you actually can fall in love with. It's not the old white man only that's doing
Yes,
it.
yes, that used to be like big, like because I studied at Stellenbosch.
Yeah.
So like, often you would find like, yeah, I must just be mindful of what I'm saying, but it's my lived experience, so I can say this. You'd have like timers, grey head,
Yeah.
up in the club, and then you like,
What are you doing here?
Margie, like literally like I could be your kid kind of thing, And again, it comes back down to power. Why are you in the club there? Because you have a certain degree of power. You
Yeah,
have
they have-
money.
they have bread,
you have
yeah.
control. You have collateral. The game is different now because people that are younger have that type of power
Yeah.
now. Breaking watches and the Hummer. What Hummers? What is it now? The G-Wagons.
The G-Wagon is the one, yeah.
I get my age now really away when I said Hummer.
Yeah,
Ooh,
yo, that's
embarrassing.
crazy. Yo, remember that advert? Hama. You remember that?
Yes.
Yeah, I know that one.
The amateur era. But anyway, so yeah. Like in my day, they used to like pop my wet, and now it's like Ace and Spades.
Ace of Spades. I don't know
They
how-
used to pop like Verve Clicquot in like my day, and like that was like yo.
I don't know what that is. Sorry.
I'm talking Clicquot. Was Khalifa? Like okay, just Google it.
We're not doing
Verve Clicquot is very
I'm
bourgeois.
sorry, TK. That's like...
Yo, I
other-
hope they roast you in the comments.
I hope people know what it is for your sake.
Verve Clicquot.
I don't know what I want, but I'm not a drinker though.
It's French. You should know it.
Well, je parle français, maar je parle-
I don't show off.
But yeah, I feel like now the Jollof Warriors, some of them call them the Jollof Warriors, the 419ers, They call them a lot of things, but obviously,
I know why they say jollof, because that's Jack jollof rice. Like,
yeah, it's Nigerian food.
I do it for my life. I do it for my mother. No, that
yeah.
is lit. Do
Bro.
they really call them that?
Yeah, the people call them the Jollof Warriors.
The chicks.
Yeah, the chicks now because they run towards the men. So right now, it's I feel like there's a stereotype that it's mostly Nigerian men, but I
Yeah.
feel like it's a lot of like African nationals, also some South Africans. Also, like you also get
Yes.
the older South African black men,
With a tender belly.
yeah, with a tender belly, where they have this nice young chick there. The wife is at home.
And they
go out
put
to
them
the
up in a flat. In a
yeah,
car.
they give them a flat. Like, for instance, I had this one friend where she works at a club and she's dating one of my friends as well. But she's also dating the guy at the club because the guy at the club pays for her apartment, he looks after her, he cares for her. So,
Does said friend know about the man?
yeah,
at
of
the
course
club?
he does. But it's quite difficult now for her to let go because now she loses all this life, all of this lifestyle. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it puts you in a very tricky situation where you have to like hide your relationship so this man doesn't find out, because if he sees that, he's gonna get angry. And you know, club owners are connected, so my man's also fearing for his life.
It's absurd. It's not like a Netflix docu.
And it's like old, and it's like, you know, we should actually produce something on that. That will be a banger.
Yes. Side chicks, blessers, Jolie warriors.
Jollof
Sorry.
Warriors.
Jollof rice. Got it. Dude, let me tell you, like that would, but as you said, they connected. Like, ain't nobody out here trying to get
Yeah,
shot.
but you don't have to speak to. You don't have to like have.
Yeah, we can
physical,
blur their faces
blur
like
their
they do on
faces.
carte blanche.
But also some of the people also believed to have acquired the wealth through like scams and
Yes,
419ing, because that's
Yes.
it's a very prominent thing in America, like in Nigeria, pardon,
Yes.
where the men who do scams to acquire money, and that also could make them not want to speak on camera. Don't you feel?
Yeah. No, now anyone that's doing like some form of illicit stuff, like they'll definitely not share their story. But I do think it's very interesting and fascinating. Like, I mean, there's a whole like network out there. You say
Yeah. These
people are living like full on double lives.
Yeah, people are going out and their wife's at home and they tell you, nah, me and my wife, we just have a partnership. We just collabing. We collabed on a baby. We just collabed on the baby. And now we're living life. So, yeah, it's actually kind of scary out here, bro. And I feel like it also ruins your future opportunity of being in a solid relationship.
Yeah.
And it can cause a lot of problems in
Yeah.
your future relationship. And not necessarily because you dated a man that looks a certain type of way, or because you slept with him, or it's not about your body count. It's just the fact that you chose the easy way out in a way.
Yeah, I can tell you